ne Christian witches. Omohimano yeneno akwa kwatwetwe nkomo. Ye kra mo se ye kɔ convention. Now no the convention is over. Mako abade ne siye. Inti ye siye no ye pese ye tifiri abefo na kasa enum. Esabre ne your Facebook live Ochuno Ko Ahemfie. YouTube channel Ochuno Ko TV live. Hello. Hello, Reverend. I'm fine, you? Wow. I'm back home safely.
To Mercy FM.
Oh, that is wonderful to hear. It was so good to meet you and your brother.
Yes. Now everything is over.
Yes.
To Mercy FM.
You know what? On behalf of my entire crew, I would like to say thank you very much for the wonderful reception you gave to me when I was in America during the convention.
Oh, we were so blessed to have you there, and we are so thankful that you had so much interest in what we're doing, and that you're also willing to share it, and that you had to come and be in the experience with us for yourself. So we appreciate that. All guests are welcome, and we love having powerful conversation about it. So thank you for coming, and we welcome you anytime.
You're more than welcome. Well, the whole world is listening to us. You know, when I came, there was a lot of speculations that have been initiated to, a group, which I don't know. And I think you will be in the very position to, describe exactly what transpired during the convention. So, the platform is all yours. What exactly transpired?
Well, first we have our school, because we do have a school for Christian witches. So the school is Monday through Friday, and our school hours when we come together is 9 to 5. And you were able to come into our classroom. You saw our classroom there. We have an altar. We teach magic, and we teach Christian witches how to live a magical life and how to live a powerful life. And so that was class, Monday through Friday. And then on Friday evening, we had the opening ceremony for the weekend, Resurrection Sunday weekend, Easter weekend. So Friday night, we were at a magic shop. And in that magic shop, there's a beautiful room in there where they do seances and speak with people who have passed over, crossed over from the dead. And so necromancy and things like that take place in that room. So it was a perfect place for us as Christian witches to come together to hold our opening ceremony. The opening ceremony is on my YouTube channel, so everyone can see what happened. We had many speakers there, and many people in our community spoke that night. It was very, very powerful. It was a wonderful opening ceremony. Saturday morning, we went to the cemetery. And we love the cemetery as witches because the cemetery is where the veil is very thin between the living and the dead. And also because Solomon said that it's better to go to a cemetery or to a house of mourning than it is to a house of mirth, because in a house of mourning, you think about your own life. So we reflected on our own lives. And at the cemetery in Salem, there are 18 souls who gave their lives because they were accused of witchcraft. Now, not all of them were witches, maybe none of them were witches, but it's a memorial there, and it tells us what happens when people are intolerant, when people are fearful, and when people are ignorant. This is the kind of murder that happens, and that we are here to see what happened and to make sure it never happens again to any witches anywhere. And then on Saturday afternoon, we had our reader studio where we had readers, tarot readers, healers, and people that you could get readings from, books and things like that for sale, which you saw. And then on Saturday night, we have a witches' ball. And the witches' ball, we all got dressed up, danced, amazing food. We got to fellowship. We had a beautiful time. And then Sunday morning topped it off because we have Sunday morning church service for deliverance. That's my very, very, very favorite part of the whole weekend was Sunday morning, because people got deliverance from shackles. I'm a minister, I'm a preacher, I'm here to serve humanity and being free. And so Sunday morning was probably my favorite part. It was a high point. It was very high energy. There's pictures of the church service. I sent pictures over to you of the church service. We also have some video from the church service, and you can see that people are getting free, and they are just having a whole expansive experience in the church service. And then right after church service, we had our brunch, our Easter brunch, plenty of food, plenty of fellowship, a good time. It was an incredible weekend, and we're doing it all again next year. Resurrection Sunday weekend, Easter Sunday weekend in Salem, all over again for the second annual Christian Witches Convention.
That's great. It was a great spectacle. And there's more questions people asking about Salem and Christian witches, since we have more than 50 states in America. So why did you guys choose Salem to be the venue of the said convention?
Well, there are two very, very, very magical places in the United States. One is Salem, for me. One is Salem, Massachusetts, because of the witch Tituba. Now, Tituba was a very powerful witch, and Tituba was from Africa, and she came through the Caribbean, and she was the one supposedly that started the Salem witch trials, because she was purportedly a slave of a white slave owner, and she was there teaching the young girls. They were all white. She was the only black one there. She was teaching some of the young girls about things that she did in her homeland of Africa, that she could fly through the air, many other witches that could fly through the air, that they could change things from one form into another, that they could talk to spirits, all of these kinds of things. And so this was not uncommon or unusual for witches, but for the people that were hearing it, they were very, very shocked. And that they were having challenges with it because they were Puritan, very Christian, and they thought everything was the devil. They were mistaken in their thoughts. So the girls started to go into these trance-like states, and so the doctor came, and he couldn't do anything with them, and so he called the exorcist, the pastor, the reverend of the place. He came, he couldn't do anything with it. They just got more and more fearful. Oh my goodness, this must be the devil taking over all these girls. And then the Salem witch trials began, and it's this hysteria. They're just grabbing people, anybody that's associated with it, and putting them on trial, and they just start hanging people. And one man was actually pressed to death. He was pressed to death with like heavy stones. So, and Tituba, while she was incarcerated for a very short time, Tituba, the black witch, she actually got away, and no one ever saw her again. And she was able to, I guess you could say, disappear, and people could not find her. And so they were not able to locate her, or they were not able to keep her incarcerated because she was able to disappear or elude them. So Tituba is one of my patron witches. So I have a lot of witches that I really look up to and call upon for help. And Tituba was really the patron witch of the Christian Witches Convention. So Tituba is really the reason why. Not so much because of the Salem witch trials, but Tituba is really the starting witch for it all. And in addition to that, now in Salem, because it's known all over the world for witchcraft, you have many stores there, so we can get many witchy supplies there. You have wands, a wand store there. You can get any kind of magic wand you want. You can get all of your potions and your elixirs, things that you use for magical practice. You can get all of those right there in Salem, because Salem is now considered maybe the witchcraft capital of the whole country of the United States. And then the second place that's very magical for me is New Orleans, where the voodoo priestesses are, priests and priestesses, and you also have a lot of hoodoo there as well, also brought from Africa through the Caribbean into the French New Orleans there. And in New Orleans, they did not have slavery. Slavery was not in New Orleans, even though it was in some of the... So even though slavery was in some of the other states, it wasn't in New Orleans that way. So you had a lot of black people there that were free, actually, and they were practicing voodoo and everything else openly, including Marie Laveau, who practiced voodoo very openly, and many people came to her voodoo ceremonies, and she was not considered, I don't know, she called herself a witch. I consider her to be a witch for the powers that she had. She was a voodoo priestess, and a very famous voodoo priestess, and did her voodoo ceremonies on the banks of the river, and many people would come from all over, white and black, all kinds of people. would come all over because they could feel and they could see that she was a very powerful voodoo priestess. So she is really all over New Orleans, and that voodoo spirit is very strong there. And also, once again, there's many magic supplies. So in August, the school will be there. The Christian Witches Mystery School will be there in August on our next magical event.
Well, you spoke at length. Can one say, looking at it from layman's perspective, saying the convention was done as a remembrance of the said witches? Because I got to Salem a couple of weeks before the convention on the high street. That's I forgot the name. The streets. There are a bunch of stores, where they sell this stuff. You can find witches. They do read the palms and all that. Books. I went to some of the witches' houses, right? And I also listened to the stories. I bought storybooks which talks about the Salem tribe. About 19 of them were hanged. I learned they were not sent to competent court of jurisdiction. Okay, so it was something baffled. I don't know if one comes out to say that you went in there just in remembrance. How would you accept it?
The Salem witch trials was, for me, it was almost like the Holocaust. Mm-hmm. So not as big, of course, not as big. In the Holocaust, 6 million Jewish people died because it got, Hitler thought that he was going to be able to wipe out all these people. He didn't just kill Jews. He killed different people. He killed people that were different that he didn't like.
But the great number was the Jews.
What he wanted to do. Mm-hmm.
But I said the Holocaust, the huge number was the Jews. About 6 million of them.
Huge number.
Yes, 6 million of them. But when we talk of Salem tribe, 19 of them were hanged. And I learned the greater number of them were blacks. How true is it?
Oh, no, the greater number of them, they were all white. White? All of the ones that were killed were white. Yeah, they were not black. Is that what you were asking, if they were black or if they were white?
Okay, and as you said, one from Africa during the slavery started practicing the witchcraft. Where was he from exactly? Which part of Africa was he from?
Oh, good question. I'll have to check and see what part of Africa she was from, because I'm not really sure. But when she was talking to the girls, she was talking to them like, you know how the girls would stay home and do the house cleaning and the housework, and the men would be out doing the outdoors work and things like that. Well, she was a slave, she was a servant, and so she was in the house with the girls, and she would just tell them stories. You know how you're just in the house telling stories, cleaning, washing, doing all the chores that the women were doing, and she would be telling them stories about her life, that when she was in her home, she flew through the air. She knew other people that could fly through the air. She knew people that could talk to spirits, all those things, that she could do that too. People that could disappear in one place, reappear in somewhere else. All of these things are known for magical people. I really believe that many people have the capacity to do these things. You just have to develop it. Because there was even, I think you remember Afua Sawa, one of the incredible healers, right? And she is an Akan priestess. And I guess you would say she does fetish, which you would say there in Ghana, that she is a person that does fetish, that practices that. And her husband is from Ghana. And her husband's father was a very, very, very powerful priest as well. And they said that someone shot a bullet and he could reach out and catch the bullet with his. So these things, I believe many people can do these things. We haven't developed our consciousness to be able to do it, but with magical practicing training, you can. That's why we have the school. And you find that your abilities become better and better and better, and people just have a hard time believing anything that they can't, pick up with their five senses. But there's so much beyond your five senses that we really have to open our minds to so many more possibilities. So these people, their minds were very closed. I mean, this is many years ago. They didn't even know much about science. a long time ago, and in 1800s, and people were very afraid of anything. You tell them something goes bump in the night, they get afraid. They become afraid. So I definitely do not want to say that the Salem witch trials was of the same magnitude as the Holocaust, because it was not. What I would say is, of all the witches killed all over the world through the entire time that witches have been persecuted and killed, which we don't know how many there are, that is on a much larger magnitude. And Salem is only a small example. And for me, it's not even a small example, because 18 or 19 people being killed is 18 or 19 souls. These are souls. These are people. Even one soul is too many being killed for what they believe. So I'm a stand for everyone's freedom of worship, freedom of devotion. For everyone is to peacefully worship and do what they are doing, and no one is to kill someone for their beliefs. These people were killed, and they weren't even witches. That's how much fear was going on, and the real witch got away.
Right. There's one question here. It looks like witches and wizards always associated with black people from Africa. Have you double-checked that? Why is it so? Or we have more magical power or powers in Africa? Have you double-checked that?
Okay, excellent question. There are a lot of witches that are not from Africa. So every culture has witchcraft, every culture. So I love traveling the world. I love going all over the world. And everywhere you go in the world, there's talk of magic people. So if you go to Peru, they won't call it a witch. They would call it a shaman. And a shaman, because I go to Peru and I lead retreats, and I know a very good shaman, and I know a couple of shamans in Peru that do very magical things, but they wouldn't call it a witch, right? I know a shaman that his mother, who they named me after his mother, Kaisi. His mother was a very powerful plant healer, and people would come from all over, and when the doctors could not heal people, she could heal people with plants, and she knew which plants to heal people with. Now that is what we would call a witch here in the United States, where I'm from. My family, we would call that a witch, because my lineage looks like that as well. And they named me after her. Yet they would not call it a witch in Peru. Now, if you go to Europe, Europe has a long line of history of witches. Witches are everywhere. They're in all cultures. There's always going to be magical men and women. There's always going to be people that can heal, people that can talk to the dead, people that have powers that cannot be explained, people that can see the future, have dreams. And I'm not saying that all people that have these gifts are witches. What I'm saying is that you will find witches in every culture. So the only reason that this particular witch was speaking of being a connection to Africa is because she was a black witch, and she was brought from Africa through the Caribbean. Yet, you could have been in Europe, and you go to Ireland, and you go all these places, you will find many, many, many witches, and they're worshiping and their gods and goddesses. And so witchcraft is everywhere. It's not unique to Africa.
Well, I understand you are adventurous. Do you believe in superstitions? And have you traveled to Africa before? If yes, what countries have you so far visited, and what for?
Okay, excellent question. So yes, I have traveled to Africa. I've been to Kenya so far, and I've also been to outside of Africa. I've been to Europe, France, the south of France, and Cannes and Paris, and I've traveled to the Middle East, Dubai. And I've traveled to China and Hong Kong, and I've traveled to India and Peru and throughout the Caribbean and Hawaii and across the United States, many places in the United States. I have found magical people everywhere.
Well, let's limit it to Africa, where I live now. When you went to Kenya, were you able to meet some of the witches or wizards? And how was it like?
Oh, it's a good question. When I went to Kenya, it was many years ago, and I actually could not meet any magical people when I went, because I went with a missions group that were coming from a church, and they were very afraid of people like that, and they wanted to stay far away from people like that or anyone that they heard was like that, because they only believe in Jesus, and they only wanted to go and bring supplies right? And they had their church service. And so I was with them because I'm a spiritual person. So I'm with a lot of different kinds of people. Sometimes I'm with Christians. Sometimes I'm with Hindus. Sometimes I'm with Buddhists. Sometimes I'm with Islamic people. Jewish people. I love to be with all kinds of people because I feel like there's one God. And so however you serve God, I'm happy to be there. So, and I come in love. So yes, they would not go anywhere near anyone. And anytime they saw someone like that in Africa that they thought was maybe had some magical powers, or they heard some word of something supernatural, right away they say it's the devil. Now this is not true, but that's what they said right away. It's the devil.
That's wonderful. So you've mentioned a bunch of beliefs, religion, and all that, and I just want to know where your belief actually lies.
I believe in God, one source, the Creator. And there's many names for the Creator because, if you go to Yoruba, I have a very close family, friends and family that are Yoruba. And so they call Olodumare, right? And if you look at the Buddhists, they talk about Buddha. And if you look at the Christians, they talk about Jesus or Jehovah. And if you look at the Hebrew Israelites, they say Yahweh. Or if you look at the Jewish people, they say Jehovah, or they say the Tetragrammaton, right? YHWH, the name that's too holy to be uttered. And if you look at people all over the world, they all are talking about the same thing. So if you have a relationship with God, I don't think you're going to be too concerned about what somebody is calling God if you really have a relationship with God. Because God doesn't have any problem with what everybody's calling God. So that's my first primary knowing. It's even beyond belief, is knowing there is a Creator, and the Creator is the same one Creator everywhere. And this Creator is all-knowing, all-powerful, all-wise, omnipotent, omnipresent, and is good and loving, and helps us with everything. And we are the children of God, the divine. Now, the divine has many faces. As many faces as there are billions of people. There's a face of God that is the river. There's a face of God that is the cloud in the sky. There's a part of God that is the mountain. There's a part of God that is the ant and the grasshopper. Everything is God, including the devil. So people think the devil is something that's not God. How could that be possible? If God is all, we say God is omnipresent. That means everywhere present. How could there be any place where God is not? So for me, the devil also works for God. And I know many people are shocked by that statement because they say, how can that be? The devil is evil. Well, the devil, according to the Bible, is the adversary, right? The adversary, not the adversary of God, the adversary of humans. Why? Because the adversary of humans is sent by God. He works for God, just like everything else does. Everything's for God. And this adversary is more like a weight trainer in the gym, giving you heavy weights to lift to become stronger and bring you to God. That's why he was able to have a conversation with God about Job. And if you go to our Jewish brothers and sisters, if you come away from Christianity just for a moment, because Christians are they're very much in this evil, good thing, right? They have this duality going on of good and evil. And it's either got to be God or the devil. Well, it may go a little deeper than that if we continue to do our investigation. So if you go to, and I've investigated the religions of the world, right? So I talk to our Jewish brothers and sisters, and I do a lot of studying of Jewish literature. There is no concept of the devil, an evil devil that is the source of evil, and he's trying to get people away from God. Jewish people don't have that. That's not in Jewish law or religion. In Judaism, Satan, Ha-Satan, meaning the Satan, he was never called Satan, capital S, anywhere in the Jewish Tanakh, which is the Old Testament. He's not called Satan like Christians call it, capital S-A-T-A-N, as if his name should be capitalized. He's called Ha-Satan, the Satan. Ha means the, Satan means adversary, the adversary, right? So what does the adversary do? The adversary goes against you so you can get stronger. If you didn't have any adversity, if you didn't have an adversary, It's like if you went to the gym, you want to get muscles, what do? You put more opposition. That's what adversity is supposed to do for you. That's what adversary is supposed to do. It's also called an opponent. They're supposed to oppose you. Well, we have opponents all the time. You have an opponent in a basketball team, don't you? And the best opponent wins. And when you have a matched opponent, you're going to train more for that basketball. You're going to practice more. You're going to get your mind right. If you have a football team and another football team, aren't they opponents? Yes, they're making each other better. They're not there to kill each other. The opponent, the devil's not there to kill you. The devil's not there to destroy you. We have misconceptions about this.
Wow. You know, I would like to play the devil's advocate here. You said you believe in God as a witch, and one way or the other, you also believe in Satan. Yes, right from what you just said.
That is an adversary. Yeah, he works for God, not that he's this evil being running around trying to kill everybody.
No.
Afraid of. He's certainly not.
Wow. Don't you think you're complicating people's mind? It's like you putting fear in them. You being a Christian, every minute you do mention the name of God. At the same time, Satan. You said you believe in God. You also believe in Satan. Satan works for God. Do you teach or do you preach this in church? Like when you go to church, I understand you're a good Christian. So among the congregation, have you tried this one before in church, explaining to them? And how would they take it? Have you done it before? And how was it like?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Mercy FM.
Mm-hmm. It's a good question. Yes. I teach this in church. I teach it on my YouTube channel. I teach it in classes in the classroom. Yes, we teach all this. As a matter of fact, in the Christian Witches School, we have specific classes on demonology. Demonology, just like angelology. So understanding this whole cosmos, understanding angels, understanding all these supernatural creatures, understanding angels, what they're for, the choirs of angels, the orders of angels, understanding demons, the order of demons. There's an order to demons also. Every demon is ruled by an angel. See, now they will never tell you this in church, because in church, there's only so much they want you to know. And church is like kindergarten. So you go to kindergarten, and after you go to kindergarten, maybe first grade, second grade, eventually you're going to start asking some questions that church cannot answer. I was asking many questions that they could not answer from me there. So I had to go on my own investigation. And that's what I recommend for everyone. That's what I say to everyone. Go and study to show yourself approved. All of these documents are now on the internet. Now, we can understand back in the 1970s and 1980s when I was in this church and whatnot, you couldn't read any of these documents because they were not online. Right now, you can go and you can read the oldest documents. You can read the old documents of the Bible, and you can see that they do not say the same thing that they said in the Bible. So much of it was sanitized or sort of they scrubbed certain things out so that the masses could accept it. You can't tell the masses the things that we're talking about because their minds are not ready. The masses have been trained to think a certain way, conditioned. And one day you're going to say, I don't want to think the way that I've been trained to think. I want to think the way I'm supposed to think for myself. Think for yourself and not listen to what they tell you in churches because they're just so brainwashed, many of us. And so I just broke out of the brainwashing and I went on my own investigation. And they told me that Hindus were wrong. Well, I decided to go there and see for myself. So I went to the Hindu house of worship and I saw nothing wrong in it. And I went to many temples in India and in the ashram, and I chanted with the people, in the Hindu people, and I chanted words, and I sat on the floor with them because in the Hindu temple they sit on the floor, right? You know, sit in church in chairs. I sat on the floor with them, chanted, the men on one side, the women on the other side. The holy man put the mark on my forehead, and it was very wonderful. And I felt God in there, and I was able to experience a whole new kind of spirituality I had never experienced before. Same thing when I go to Bali. They have a full moon ritual, and the full moon is very important to the Balinese people, Indonesian people. In Bali, everything is based on the moon. So here they have a full moon ritual. It's bigger than anything you can imagine, even bigger than Easter Sunday for Christians. And so you go in, and there's this big full moon ritual. And the way you go into the temple, women have to go in a certain way. So I had to wear the sarong. And I could not have a hat on my head. And the men have to have their head covered. So it's the reverse of our Islamic brothers and sisters. Because when I went to the mosque, pray with the Islamic sisters and brothers, I was on one side, the women on one side, the men on the other. And the women are completely covered, as we know, according to their rules and their law. In the Balinese tradition, it's exactly reversed. The women go in with their head uncovered, and the men must cover their head to go into the temple. And a woman cannot go into the temple if she is in her moon time, as they call it, or having their cycles, right? Because they consider that impurity or unclean, just like Jewish people consider that a woman's impurity. So if you go to all these places and you go on your own investigation, you'll come to understand many things that you would not understand if you just stay in a Christian church. If you stay in a Christian church, you probably are only going to see about 5% of reality. You know, the other 95% of reality will be hidden from you.
Wow. Well, Reverend, let me take you back a little bit. You said you went to church, you asked few questions, but it's like they couldn't answer, so you did your own investigations. Can you walk us through some few questions that they couldn't answer, and you find it very tough, so that you started your own investigation? What are some of the questions you're talking about?
So in other words, what I do, you mean when I teach, when I preach in church?
Mm-hmm.
You mean? I want to make sure I understand the question.
Mm-hmm. My question is, you made mention of Christians, you know, like you have tag of war with them. You go in there, you ask questions. They couldn't answer the set question for you. So you started your own investigation. And I'm asking, what are those questions that they couldn't answer? And you started your own investigation. Where are they? One or two of them?
Oh, excellent question. I was asking things like, if God created all the angels, because what they told me was this. They said, God created all the angels, and the angels do not have willpower like humans, because angels are not able to create. Angels are created beings. They cannot create. They also told me that the angels work for God. And then they said that there was a devil. And the story was that the devil was talking to the Eve, the first woman, through the serpent in the Garden of Eden. So I began to ask questions right from the beginning. Well, why was this devil, who was this devil person? Where did this devil come from? He came from, they say he was an angel and he turned. Well, why did he turn? Because angels supposedly don't have the ability to have their own willpower. You see, they were saying, well, it's because he didn't want to, he got full of pride, and he didn't want to listen to God. I said, and then what happened? Well, he was cast out of heaven, and then there's going to be this big war of Armageddon, and God and the devil are going to fight. And that didn't make sense to me, because I cannot imagine that God, who is all-powerful, is going to have some kind of evil adversary that he actually has to fight and prove that he's God. God doesn't have anything to prove. God is God. God made everyone. So, you know, I love there's a saying in Africa. I don't know what part of Africa it comes from. It says, a lion does not turn around when a small dog barks. God doesn't turn around because an angel decided that he doesn't want to listen to God. That cannot displace God. So I knew that there were some questions. It didn't fit together. Also, hellfire did not fit together for me. Why would God put his children in hell? I would never put my children in any harm. I don't care if they were murderers. I don't care what my children do. I would never be able to put my children in a fire. I couldn't do it. So I wondered about this. And these questions began to nag at me. And then some questions about, well, everything you see is the devil. It doesn't look like a devil. It looks like a dead person, or it looks like a person or a soul that doesn't know where they're going. There's all these different spirits. We live in a world full of spirits. And they call everything the devil. I said, well, everything can't be the devil. So I was confused, and I can't say that I was confused about what I was sensing and feeling on the inside. I wasn't confused about that. I was confused by the stories that they were telling, that they were trying to piece together and say that they made sense when they did not make sense to me. And I have a very intelligent, rational mind and a very high curiosity. And I was reading far beyond my reading level when I was in school, and they wanted to skip me. So I was always reading, and truly thirsting for knowledge. And I have a very high intelligence IQ, so I really wanted to know the truth. I was looking for the truth. And the truth has a way. And when someone is speaking the truth, you know it. And when they are not speaking the truth, something doesn't land right. And that's what was happening. I said, there has to be more to it than this. There's too many questions I had. And when I asked too many questions, my mother would just say, Valerie, or the church would just say, you have to trust us because we know what God said. Well, that wasn't good enough for me.
So, per your findings, are you satisfied with them? That you can propagate to the rest of the world? Are you okay with the answers that you find?
That's a very good question. I can say that I'm still not satisfied. I don't know if I would be satisfied because I don't know all the secrets to the universe, and I don't even know all the secrets to the universe. I can say that by my broader discovery of what is out there, by looking at our Jewish brothers and sisters, by going back to Egypt and studying what was taught in Egypt, by understanding more, I now have peace within myself that there's a greater story than what I was told. This universe is much greater than Christians. Christians are only 20 or 20% of the people on the whole planet. There has to be 20% of the people on the planet can't be telling us the whole story. And it has to be more to the story. And there's a word in the Jewish lore, Jewish tradition, that said God gave 10 parts of magic to the world, and he gave 9 parts of the 10 to Egypt. Another part. So 9 parts. God gave magic, 10 parts magic to those world, to humanity, to us, as a gift. He put 9 parts in Egypt, which is in Africa. So this may be why there could be this magical lineage, magical ancestry that goes all the way back to Egypt, because they are the keepers of the original magic.
Wow. Wow. Let me come to you as a reverend and at the same time a witch. So what do you use your powers for as a witch?
That's an excellent question. I use my powers as a witch for healing. So I'll give you an example. Just the other day, someone called me, and I was about to do a teaching on YouTube, so I didn't have much time. And I work a lot with the angels. I work with the ancestors. I also work with ascended masters and things like that. Mostly the angels. I'm very comfortable with the angelic realm. I always have been. I always had a connection to angels no matter what. No matter where I am, I just always had a connection with angels. So the other day I was speaking to her, and I was about to do a live stream. She called me. It was an urgent call, and she was having this tremendous pain, and she was really in a very, very bad way, and she was crying on the phone. Please help me, please pray for me. And I said yes. And I get a lot of distress calls, and I'm very thankful, because ministers and healers, that's why we're here, to end the suffering of humanity. So I did not have time to do, let's say, my candle work or go into my magic room and do a ritual or things like that. So I did a quick prayer before I went live. As she told me, 4 beings came to her, which I immediately knew exactly who they were. They were the 4 archangels, Michael, Raphael, Uriel, and Gabriel. And she said 3 of them, this was how I knew exactly which angels had gone to her, because when I hear what people tell me, I'll know what angels went over there. She said that one looked like a woman. That was Gabriel, because the angel Gabriel is female, not male. And if you look at her in the Bible, you can see that she's always bringing tidings of baby. Like when she came to Mary, she brings tidings of babies. She came to also the mother of John the Baptist, who was John the Baptist, who was Elizabeth, and his father was Zechariah. She came to them to bring tidings of a baby. So Gabriel is female, but a lot of people mistake her for a male. She's a female angel, and as we have many female angels, male and female. So when she described to me the 4 beings that were there, and she said they were rolling her around, they were working with her, they were speaking, and she couldn't understand what they were speaking because they were speaking the angelic tongue, because angels don't speak English. They don't speak any language that is discernible by humans. They speak an angelic tongue. And you can find the angelic alphabet. All of this is online. You can find it. It's just do some simple research, and anyone can learn the angelic tongue. It's not something that's secret anymore. And they worked on her, and her pain went away, and she was healed. I do that. That's my favorite kind of work, and it's so simple and it's so natural for me. And of course, I do work also with aromatherapy, with essential oils, with crystals, with words. Words are the most powerful, potent healing because the word is God, right? It says in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. And not one thing came into existence other than by the Word. So the Word is energy, vibration. You can heal with your word. Now, many people, this is all natural, but people take it to be so supernatural, like there's something awe-inspiring about this. We only have awe of God. These are gifts God has given healers and seers and prophets and witches and wizards from the beginning of time.
Wow. Folks, in case you've just joined us, this is Kumasi FM, and we are speaking with the Queen of Christian Witches, all the way from United States. Reverend, one more question. Per the information given to us, almost 80% out of 100 is God, angels, and all that. Do you believe in the Holy Spirit? Do you believe in tongues? Per what you're saying, it relates, to the belief of Christians. Can I have your stand here?
Yes. I believe in the Holy Spirit. I believe in Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Holy Spirit being the feminine aspect of God. Absolutely. The Holy Spirit speaks in our hearts, and the Holy Spirit speaks to every person, every being, regardless of what they believe, right? So yes, I believe in the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. I follow Christ as my exemplar, the one whom I would love to live my life like how Christ lived his life. That's why we call it Christian. I'm a witch born by birth. I'm a witch from a long lineage of witches. And so, yes, speaking in tongues, yes, that's very real. I see that many times. And there's no conflict in any of it. It's all God. It's all energy. And it is all possible. All things are possible with God. All things.
Wow. So if someone come out to say that you are possessed, how would you take it? And I believe in Christians, they have something called deliverance. Have they tried that one on you? Like to cast, the demons out of you. That's what Christians used to say. And I even saw it online. That's the contribution from, viewers and all that during the convention in Boston.
Yes, that's what people think. They don't understand. You see, I would not be able to be possessed by a demon because I am very inhospitable to demons. Demons don't like me. They don't like me for many reasons. And one of the reasons is because my home, myself, everything that I do, I am of love. Now, there's certain energy demons don't want to be anywhere near. I'm very clean. This invites angels. I burn things that smell very good, different kinds of incense, different kinds of frankincense, myrrh. All these things repel demons and it invites angels. I have crystals. I have my whole life is set up from where I practice and where I worship and what I wear and how I speak and how I conduct myself. I am very, what's the word? Demons don't like me. They stayed very far away from me. As a matter of fact, when we were in Peru, I was leading a retreat, and it's a plant healing retreat because I heal people with plants. Well, God uses me. I don't heal people. God heals people through me. God was healing someone with plants, and I can see into the spirit realms. And I saw this person had a demon. And I have seen demons look at me and run the other way. I've seen them because I can see. So, and I have other people in the room, and they will tell you what they saw. I'll give you people that you can talk to, and they will tell you exactly what they saw. So here, we have many instances of this. So here's one instance. We were in the room, and I can even let you speak to her. As a matter of fact, you saw her in the room, Dr. Denise Bacchus, and we were in an experience, and here comes a demon. And I was in the ayahuasca. I was in the ayahuasca experience. And ayahuasca is a powerful plant teacher and a plant healer, Mother Ayahuasca. And she showed me, you have a demon. And I said, you have a demon. And I saw it above her head raising out because the energy in there was too strong. And it was too high vibration and too much healing. And the shaman was in there too. And it left and it flew out the window. We have another one where we were in Sedona, Arizona, and someone fell in the middle of the floor. And this one was just like the one in the Bible, where they were not able to cast it out, and this one did not want to go out. And I told her they had to go out, and she was trembling and rolling on the floor, shaking. And what happened? I began to pray the Psalms, 23rd Psalms. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. And I began to pray with very powerful energy. And you could see the demons just shaking her back and forth, back and forth. It did not want to leave. But it didn't know that I am a prayer warrior and I'm a woman of God. And I will cast it out. I don't work for demons. I cast out demons just like Christ did. We had another experience in Salem. Same thing. At the Christian Witches School in October. I can give you many instances. And there was one who had the same kind of experience. And something came out of her and she hit the floor. Many times the demon will make a person hit the floor and they'll be rolling and shaking. You can see them. We had another experience with another one when we were in Ohio. I've seen this many times because this is part of my work. I cast out demons. So they can pray and pray and pray all they want and say that they're casting out a demon from me. But I want to ask you one question. You were in the room. Did it look like I have a demon? And if they've been doing all that praying, if they're really prayer warriors, and if the demon was cast out, it would have seemed like it would have stopped me, and it did not, because I work for God.
Wow.
I work for demons.
Reverend, I understand witches and wizards here in Africa, they fly on brooms, they travel along the night, they meet in the spiritual realm, they eat flesh, that's human, and drink blood. Do you do same in America?
No, I don't myself. Now, I do know witches that fly off the little broomsticks. I can tell you a witch right now. Her name is Carolyn Elliott, and she has a blog, and her blog is called Bad Witches. If you go to www.badwitch.es, and if you go to Bad Witches, and I've written articles for her blog, she will tell you that she flies through the air, that she does invisibility. There are many people that do that. Most of them don't publicly tell you that they do that. They can do bilocation. They can disappear from one place and appear somewhere else. We have reports of people who do this. I don't do those kinds of things. The things that I do are more, more healing. Because I'm not really interested in flying through the air. I'm not really interested in eating flesh or drinking blood. I'm not interested in any of that. I'm interested in healing God's people. And God sent me here as a healer. God sent me here to set people free, set the captives free. And that's what I do.
Right.
Casting out demons and things like that. That's more, my ministry is more exorcism.
And Christians are worried. Most of the Christian communities are, are into challenge you why the name Christian. Can't you eschew the name Christian and maintain the witch? Can't you maintain that?
That's an excellent question, and Christians should be worried. And the reason they should be worried is because they killed with impunity many, many, many witches over many years. And so now this is karma coming back to them. And they also should be worried because they have not sufficiently fed their people. They've given a lot of people fear. And so since they have not sufficiently fed their people, there are many people in church coming and looking to me for tarot readings. I do tarot readings. I have done more tarot readings for Christians than any other group of people. They're going seeking help for crystals. They're going seeking help because these things empower people to live their life, their divine life. And it's an urging from the inside. Oh, yeah, the Christians, they should be worried.
One more question. Looking at the symbols that you use, when I was in Salem, the kind of symbol on your hats, it looks like that of there's these secret groups, they use common signs. It looks like that of yours. How do you answer this question?
So, you mean the pentacle with the cross on top?
Yes.
Yes. So, our pentacle is the 5-pointed star with the point up. Now, if the point is down, it stands for Satan, or the flesh. If the point is up, so you must be very careful as to where the symbol is pointing. So our point is up, meaning the 4 points are earth, air, fire, water, and the 5th point is pointing up for spirit or ether. And so that's the 5 points of which the entire universe is made, and then this is the symbol of the witch, and this indeed came from God. This came from God when Solomon had to cast out the first demon from a boy, and it was Asmodeus, actually. I believe it was Asmodeus. No, it was Orneus. He cast this demon out of this boy. The demon was trifling with this boy, and the boy was getting very sick and very skinny. And this is how Solomon became the greatest magician that ever lived, is because he went and prayed and asked God how to deliver this boy. And God gave him the seal of Solomon, which is the pentacle, this 5-pointed star. So this came from the Bible. This is from God. And then on top is this cross. And the cross is the symbol, once again, of the 4 elements, the 4 points, the 4 archangels, the 4 winds, all of this in the cross. The cross is, and the lateral, the one that goes horizontal is the earth plane, and the one that goes straight up and down is heaven down to earth, right? So bringing these together, integrated together, is Christian witch.
Wow. Anyway, we're running out of time, and I have some few minutes, to leave you. You see, practicing of witches in Africa is different altogether as compared to that of Eastern world. It looks like African witch or wizards are primitive. Yes, I will say this with no apology. And I've spoken with some of the witches and wizards, and they've come out voluntary to meet you, to take them through some tuition. Will you come over?
Yes.
Then the witches and wizards in Ghana are doing their listening, including ministers of God. What do you have for them? You have about 2 minutes for them.
For the witches and wizards of Africa, I love you. I'm praying for you. And I support you in being powerful and practicing magic in a way that helps everyone. Now, I have never practiced black magic. I have never put spells or cast spells on other people. I don't do that. I help people. That's what I do. I work for God. That's what I do. And I do not ask anyone to agree with me. I don't think everyone should agree. I think everyone can come to understanding. The Hindu can understand the Jew. The Jew can understand the Islamic. The Islamic can understand the Christian. The Christian can understand the Native American. The Native American can understand the witch. So we must come to understanding. We don't have to agree. We do have to come to understanding, and understanding leads to compassion. When you have compassion, you will not hurt a single soul. I took a vow of harmlessness. I hurt no one. I harm no one. Not even ants and creatures in my house, little critters that I see in my house. I don't even harm them. I try to get them to go outside again. Or I might do some magical work, or use some herbs or some essential oils that they don't like, and they'll go the other direction. There's a way to move energy. I don't harm. I have a vow of harmlessness. So we must come together for understanding to lead us to compassion for all people, all sentient beings, compassion for the earth, compassion for this whole universe.
Thank you, Reverend, for availing yourself to the program. And I think we're going to continue from where we're living it today.
Thank you so much for the invitation. Thank you for being such an amazing broadcaster and media personality to have these powerful conversations about things that are going on all over the world, not just where you are. You always also travel to America. So thank you for your bravery and your courage in bringing these issues to the whole world. So thank you for being courageous. Amen.
You're more than welcome. Family uncle. Bomb the castle. It's over to a way.
About Joe, Eddie from Kumnaba. I see in himself, which is conference conventional. Now, on the national Busa, I said,
Upon you, Bayaba. I said, Busa. I do a person Busa. I say,
Omoji, I said, you have been seen. Also, Omoji, Jesus City.
Ah, Mammy, okay, this is what I want to
the message your dear band. All right, Mammy, any mother free, Kuwait Naba.
Okay.
I'll say, I say, a day in Potty.
Kuwait, no one had you.
Yeah, I told you. Original Kuwait. I said, dear Potty, part of which or Muslim. Nothing is on to the buy, also called conference now. A dear Potty, part of no mature law about witchcraft inside them and also. Frida J. Ediford Stuttgart Naba, or say, Nakopon Shaw, in fact, opium for Fuani. Now, my ass Mocas on worship God, dear, without it.
And I'm in an AP. So, when some cried, woman.
Now, Obimpe divine, Ediford Fadama cry. Now, also, our cousin was just said, when some year German Yankopon. Giddy for as a Christian, so you do a man Yankopon. Obusa said, or no, my men or your watching, or you do a man devil, and now Satan, that's what
make I want you. What's a Busan? So, Orinam, because we say Africa.
Yes.
You bay him same class, the only name near dinner. Or so on Minam, or no moja. Now, the bay no woman, or the Buenipa, or Sayare, or the enemy baby. And I mean, Busan say, it's a soft form and phobia to woman, so so. Say, be a, you can't say deliverance. Yeah. Any bit that was how many times. I saw for today. Also, 2 years, I saw for the demons. On your demonic, on your possessed. If you see, but so many instances. Into a more beer or some, the bonsam. Nana, me was a symbol of Bonadi and Yadam. Also, your Solomon, symbol in everyone. Now, what the man, and the muscle would be ye or bring body GD baby. I add you. I was at Miss Abusani, baby say. I saw now awkward, yes, has him overcome. Also, quite sorry, as some of kind of Bible near the no. What people saw question dear. Now say, ye Timmy in a new year. Then I'm a class one kind of day and two. No, what's so bad research. The research now, or you know, to quite be brave. Or con cremo for, Apple Hindu for, Wababe Drew Kenya, and in Kobe so. The young seminar of it in a carbon team. It is your no, what Siana or ye, who so to us on a one. Wow.
Also, Sandra, the Maryland number, USA. Or say or support here, mammy. The man in the gentleman say, or say on the base seminal, or the other part, or the body part, or the yard, you take Christopher.
Also, angels never one who buy, or don't we do more desire. Or say a friend say, Raphael, that's all come. You also require your bar,
Gabriel,
Gibber, or say require your bar, Mount normally as well, payment. And more cousin, we are to me in a couple of many pendano. A more a buped your watch, 80% over Egypt. To me now, no Cassin, Egypt in the war. Tis a Casa, Africa for a bay for any woman. Name will be on fire the pack. Ghana also be a war papa. Well,
about Marcus Edifree, a Texas Naba, or say a Juman de Oye. Now, a free or taste or bar a Salem. Now, or Bassa conference, you will also in your interest to move by the Russia here, a can kind of mamma community as a edify a Christian witchcraft. Linda or Tin and the free Jordan Naba. I say great work, man of God. I'm going to show. In fact, my radio, I have called up. Now, my mean some more idea. Or I have come to Seneca, but still original now. So, Francisco, what if you said you come and say that? I say, what can we see? Demonology and angelology. Geology, I said.
So, maybe I should have some. Also, also by a researcher. So, here, also a researcher. And I'll call Peru. The air friend Sabia, American friend, which no. Would differ from where and the friend. As I want a baby, was in a baby, no baby. Almost me a young one in a dean come. So you are sick baby on or bay and the bay into a son. Never be at net what it in more. And Jomo Cromos would deal with the fair bay. And if you unfind me, what the bois.
Very deep, very, very deep. Now,
oh, that may buy and some mechanical baby, not quite say, made trashy. Into one more about you go, somebody money.
Kwabena Sante di free and Abrakakra na ba. Also questions now will be something in your questions or more person or two things I say muaye that what I was saying. Now talks no dear.
Kwabena say question no open. Me busama.
I'm very good.
Na say ubusa bro new question no cast a great question. Excellent question. Na just say where we any yo.
Yes.
I say some adwo ma odro na ukoko. Otutu afiri ho. And I'll crash that in that form. Now some I don't want to do. Watch your mouth. I go crocodile. I can't find me.
I shall crash. Nathaniel Anson.
Wow,
oh yeah. I say, Reverend, in fact, I'm a base of my alcohol.
And I got the enemy. I'm a Morgan. Yes, your mama fans. We are fucking papa. As I can say, your mother. Mo your fucking papa. Ono no be ye no woni ma ode ye. Wo ko oba wa brocha no atena praye so. Wo ba bia pu no si. Ah? Mutimi ni bode ha ba na mo dey play na mote so. Ana mo fanya play ni entra ma wia. Obi di entra mo nye ma mo. Mo nsakra.
Yo. Apa me fa we ntwa to Reverend Kennedy the free love the go on the back.
I say na yewu. Fire.
Reverend
Kennedy etio.
What about the saying of ourselves say we a Christian witch.
Ana me catch say a Christopher Naja. I don't know when you Christian influence. Now we're chilling also when you're saying, oh, changing the name, changing it. We're Christian. You can be no stay focused.
Now, also, you're Christian witch. Now, oh, so demons, name of cast out demons. Mamma die.
Wow. Yes, I can know.
What was what? Manager Augustine, Joken Multimedia. Also, a woman with a total demon. I asked one of us on Ramadan. I was a member of my
the answer. Also, many didn't come on my kind. So, if you have been able to say a beer, we grab a quarter of a society. Nam go with a beer and go share Mune, Sani Manon. I was set a Christopher A. Munomusiadi. Who won't say what Nancy Pop? I say a friend say the Lord's Prayer of Cran and Fuzuli. I see a sister. Now, was I won't say, on the Pope when you are nabbing. Why am I to say a true Bible now? Not just a Biblia into our Bible. So, what your mammy and you don't come a Jew for a Kumo Germany 6 million you Kumo. And so, no one you Kumo. A dog. Bibusan said, Salom, why a bay saying she. America probably be. I will say your war or more GD. Say in Chromie, I want American, Salom come one. Sad to me. One my kunku on that Bakufi Africa. I didn't buy in Quaton more Tifia or Shabro for no money animal. Now or Chom Bay in this animal. Wait about tomorrow. And then Busan said, and he for pots in pan of free of Africa. Was this how researching Yanyan in Lugo? May my year was a home free. And no more they assess handsome for form. Omu Kumnipa Baby, name Nipa 19, and no record day. Anna Brofo, Edding, a camera before saying. A camera. Into Abrofo now, what did you say? Sacrono, Bayeding, Etabo, into whom you be on meeting. Omo Ecoquayano. But what I say, Omo Gidiano. Into only common up a sober conformation, no Timinka. So here, Ghana say you will be one or a baneful pa. No name said Ghana. Ubu Okrana, Utmi Chubanana, a Trobana Pro Iden, Egufom. A bed then yet not to be a true Amana Pro. Nina magical powers. Now, say the pan will to me be no the cocamwa.
na afi de tumi na den akosoro so what you say nti wo tie de o kan ya ye kɔ hɔ no ɔmo ase book ɛna ɔmo kyerɛ kwan ya bɛfa so a wo ho betimi akosoro ne so ɔkɔwe na mo oda ɔmo ɔnwom a ɔmo bɔ ɔmo kyerɛ type of ɔnwom a wo betimi abɔ ɔmo wadwene kura fi wiase yɛ den yɛtimu yi ɛho me kɔtɔ doctors wɔ mechanics yɛbɛdi saa nkɔmɔ no akyi so nti ne nyinaa no ɛka ne nyinaa afuo a sɛ ɔte a Sunday ne yɛkɔ asɔre Pentecost foɔ no kɔ Easter Sunday no asɔre no Resurrection Day no ɔmo so kɔ asɔre hyɛ all white ɛkɔda nyame den ase ɔmo saa kɔ asieyɛ ɔmo gyi di sɛ baabi a yɛn atie ne asieyɛ ha ɛno no kwan da mfimfini wo transa na ɔkɔ asieyɛ anaa wo transa na waba atiasefoɔ asase so nti ɔmo so kɔ na ɔmo akɔmɔ ɔmo de yie anaa dadin sɛ ɔmo sunsun bi so yɛ den ɛwɔ hɔ tí ɔmo awu ɔmo ani nka ɔmo amuna mbɔ mo nfa ma baabi yɛ ti nti wosɛ mi bisa sɛ asɛ ɔkeka nipa bi yɛ den ebom ɔsɛ dɛbi masa.
Upon that New Orleans, no, what was I say? New Orleans, not by Massachusetts.
And my baby, and also a different state. You want to say different crowd, and so by some maybe say, oh, so on also so for people and so man shift. I saw flash for one in Bain. I was also need to be bonny. I see to Tumano. It's my media best stress off for one gun, mammy bar, moments someone's hour so my. Also, when you demon, when you're possessed, the bay in the wolf in bar. Hey,
you'll be in
Cobra.
Oh, na ensomini na kase o. Se na oti muri bi ni na me huri se. Se me kase bi a me ye ya bi a ro kakra bi se o. Kwam naila. Enka bi a ni 30 minutes time na ka meba. So na wo mbi sa ne bi a wo yembe hihye so a se me ga mi blabo so twi ba bi a ne edu no a. Bi be ye wa ye hihye no ne ade na me se no ke. Ene ma me ne oti mu die. Se ada wan ko bi me ya me ko akwasa na wo so twi so no ha. Na me na ka kasa. Kwam na ati mbi ni ndia. Ti ne me nsi fom no. Messi is you. And I could mean as well, not present. A be a bay or Mario. And to miss Murphy. Okay. You're quite missing. Oh, my papa. Yakoba, no, my papa. Be you one. And we do not me for one. Hey, come on, he's old. And your mercy. Also, said Bible. What's the baby away a hint? Some Sammy Yakop on the ball. Na Yakopon so aboy oso on tiase obusa na ne manso se Yakopon so wo de ne ma e be gugem enya no kre e bone ben na ono ne baba yi wo de ne betu gem asem no kan so make sense enso yemfa ora
Once I saw Fradiana, son of a jet. And send me one. What can I want to call him? Son of what I say. Cajun Grannies. It's a new reincarnation. So this is Bonnie obedience as who are over. Maybe all Sasha does. Now, what watch it? No, as will be answered was in Chelsea. Send me. See, a branch of business so I'll be pay my baby. Who now cover 1 year cram and 1 can wear the others. A preco. Now, what was shown. And you be also did a because I come said, yes, and Sunny Musse. And the way they can no crown answer. And I do want to see with answer. No credit. And can be all come up. She will say, I am away. And in some of tea, I had an India, you was. And on the one, so I quabana, quaquay, no muti, who free. So I would try being a cruel trust. I am Moka, Nigeria, I am great. But when you want much than German, and you win. And you will help us over Wakaba. No, I can't someone. Not a fade, won't see. And he, by one was here, Bonemo. Maybe said. Brana Casamia, Brabona Bobone, which you find, we have papa. Nasa, would Bob Bray, you know, in Tio Binaswa, and one more, and to do the Nakasoki, then she ransom. Very much of Sibia, and Mokro, no major man, and you win yes and easy. Okay, can you know, Boma? Now what about Bra? Nay, accommodation. Then so we by our say, and Ransom would be a ransom as well. I wish I know me as in your poor. Rappo, Rappo. Was it which could be ransom? Which are me? It's my 18. It's in Yana said, would ye Bob Brancy and Tiobinazo? Your papa and one. But that's a cobra. Ha, must I find you back? My mother's away. Hello. Wake up, wake up, and come and say hi.